Okay, this is the new CGC video. I'm going to react to it. So I'm going to be pausing it frequently.
(9.8), (9.9), and the ever-elusive 10.0. Today, we're going to talk about manufacturing defects. Now, one would assume that because books come directly from the printer or the manufacturer, that the books are going to be perfect. That's not necessarily always the case. So today, we're going to discuss the differences between a 9.8, a 9.9, and a 10.0, and pull back that curtain and show you CGC's grading process.
Okay. Power Rangers.
Now, there are times where we get bulk submissions sent to CGC, either directly from the publisher or the printer themselves.
The publisher or printer is not cool, dude.
And inside here,
not cool.
Inner shipping box. And if I open this up, this particular case has about 160 raw copies, all pre-packed.
160 copies? That costs a lot.
Now that we have the books safely removed from the inside packaging, I'm prepping them by putting them in piles. You notice a backboard underneath here so they can safely be moved across the table.
Cool.
And one of the first things that I'm going to be looking for is with them all lined up in the same direction.
Where's his gloves?
Spine corners.
Where's his gloves?
That color breaking spot. As you can see, as you move your eye up and down along all the corners here, you can see the ones that do break color with the light showing versus the ones that do not and have the solid, sharp corner of the spine edge that we're looking for books that might grade out higher above a 9.8.
Time-lapse photography. Oh boy. Okay, again, he's not wearing any gloves. So he's going to get oil all over the books. Nice.
What I've done here is a preliminary stacking process where I've gone through and I picked the ones that don't have color breaking marks on the top and the bottom spines. And then this pile right here would be that one pile. And then these piles over here would be the ones that show a little bit of white, and those would knock it out of the 9.9, 10.0 range, but not necessarily the 9.8 range. So if they have
a color breaking tick, they should not be 9.8s. They should be 9.6s. If I want a 9.8 book, I want it to be perfect.
These narrow down. I will save the higher grade ones for after, once we establish manufacturing defects and any other consistencies as far as defects that go along with all the books on this particular print run.
More time lapse? But God, that has to be a horrible job.
As I'm going through these stacks, what I'm looking for is sharp corners and a tight spine. Now, in this particular book, all of these books are made beautifully. They're on a nice heavy cardstock cover, and they hold up really well in shipping. So what I'm looking at here...
And he's opening them, making sure they don't lay flat.
And then you look at the corners here. The corners up here by the Boom logo, and then the bottom, very nice and sharp. So my eye is going around all
Okay, so to get a high grade, you want a cardstock book. Noted.
No surface wear whatsoever. The only spot that I can see is that tiny little spine right there with a little bit of light showing.
Oh, that makes it not a 9.8.
Not still achieve a 9.9.
Shouldn't be a 9.9 either.
On the printer, there is a possibility that can be damaged in the cases they come in.
What?
So this particular book, as I'm looking for those sharp corners, if you notice on the bottom spine there, you can see a small impact crunch right down.
Dude, corner crunch.
Now, if this particular book was going through a 9.8 pre-screen, that would be considered a handling defect. That would take it out of the 9.8 and make it a reject.
Thank you.
It would still be attainable in the 9.6 range, but unfortunately, this particular book in a 9.8 pre-screen would be a reject. And as you can see, the impact crunch carries through the book and goes through to the back cover as well.
See, that's good to know. We don't want corner crunch. Corner crunch is nasty.
Going through, I'll put this one over here in a separate pile. That one of the other books in the stack showed a little bit of white on the top spine here. Looks like it bumped around in the box on the top edge. So we got the top spine here, and then the top right edge. You can see a little bit of white showing through. This is pretty minimal. Something that would still be attainable in a 9.8 range.
It should be perfect if it's a 9.8.
We'll flip it over.
Not this corner crunchy stuff. Ew.
And as you can see, this top
I don't know about y'all, but when I want a 9.8, I want like a perfect book.
This would take it out of the 9.8 range. You put it in the 9.6. All right, so now I have these piles separated out by grade as of now, based on the corners and the top and bottom spine showing white and impact bends.
He's a very good sorter.
This pile right here I have in front of me, along with these two piles to my right.
But he should be wearing gloves because finger oils.
This side over here on my left, which are the really nice looking books that have sharp corners, no color breaks. These are books that we're going to look at a little bit closer once we go through these. So now I'm going to focus on the back covers and look across the surface and roll my eye across the light and look at the surface for any type of scuffs, indents, bends, creases.
Where are his? He's been handling these books over and over. They're going to have fingerprints. Where are his gloves?
Now, when you're looking at the same book, it is a little easier. You can go a lot faster because you're looking at the same thing over and over and over again. So it does become a little repetitious, but it makes it easier.
Sorry if you hear my mom, y'all. She doesn't realize I'm recording.
Go around the book.
She's telling me that it's nice outside and I should go out to dinner.
And those are books that I'm taking out of 9.8 because
I told her I was recording.
Take them out of that grade range.
She forgot.
Okay, now that we've completed the back cover, we're going to flip these over and do it again, but to the front.
I don't think you can actually look through books that fast. I mean, he's probably very good at it, so he probably is very...
I'm going to do the same thing to two other stacks from here. Now, if you notice, too, as I've been doing these, I've been bracing all these piles with the board. It's one of the safety things that the less we handle the books, the better. And
he needs gloves.
Especially books like this where
he needs gloves.
The cover stock is a little harder and glossier than others, so the spine stress will show up and it looks pretty bad. And we don't want to be the ones that damage the books, so we want to make sure that
he needs gloves.
In the best possible condition. And as you can see, these boards that I have on these books on top of them are really sturdy. These are those thicker backboards that you can buy at comic shops.
Gloves, 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 gloves.
And balance the books out.
He's holding too many.
As you can tell by these piles, these are all 9/8. This was a pretty successful pre-screen so far. As I was going through the 9/8, the rejects that I pulled, you notice that some of them have these impact crunches. Some of these defects are only visible depending on how you hold the book and at what angle you're looking at it. So these crunches right here that I rejected as we were looking at the front are things that are really only visible when you're looking straight on the book. If it was off to the side, yeah, there's a little bit of white showing, but not necessarily the crunch itself will be visible. So that's why it's important for me when I look at these books to break them down step by step. And
he really, and he doesn't open them either.
What I like to do is I like to safely
so let's see.
I do that by staggering them and counting.
There's no opening of the book and checking the quality of the pages.
A lot safer than the one to its side, so they don't tip over and fall. So I stagger them 10 by 10, which makes it easier at the end of the day too for me to count how many. As I can just count based on the side showing. And there you go. 3 messy piles condensed into 2 nice and neat piles. So now that I have the 9/8 separated, what I'm going to do is go back to that previous pile, the one that I pulled that had the nicer looking spines that had very little to no white showing at all.
There should be no white showing.
These a little more of a fine-tooth comb than we did the other ones because we know that these could possibly be higher contenders. So we need to look and make sure and scrutinize.
There should be no white showing in a 9.8. I'm sorry. Even on these cardstocks, that should be a 9.6.
I will do the same thing I did before by separating a pile based on what I see.
I mean, probably with a book like this, you don't need to open it up, but you probably should.
What I'm looking for are divots or shadows caused by bends, creases, indents, crunches. Now I'll show you these 3 right here. I took out of that pile. As I was going through them, I noticed some defects here in the back cover.
Helping people grade books would be to go slower and not so fast.
Slight little impacts, which won't take it out of 9.8, but unfortunately won't put it in the 9.9 or 10.0 category.
An impact should take it out of the 9.8. I'm sorry. That does not look like a 9.8. That looks like a 9.4 all day. I'm sorry. It's nasty.
Now that I have all of the 9.9 and higher contenders pulled out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back again to this pile and scrutinize this and look for the sharpest corners and the parts of the spine, the top and bottom spine, where there's no color breakage, no color loss anywhere, no bends, no spine stress, if there's one that does exist. If there is one, then we possibly could have a 10.0. Well, I think we got one. I have them separated into 3 stacks. It's easier for me to show you the transition of the defects on the spine. We'll start with the 9/8 in particular. And if you look, what we have here are not only white showing where there's wear on the spine corners, but there's also bindery tears, which is a very common production flaw with books. And it's still acceptable in the 9/8 grade.
I'm sorry, but those do not look like 9/8. That's nasty. That's also nasty. A 9/9 should be freaking perfect. That's nasty.
You'll notice that there is none of that.
That is a perfect book. That should be a 9/9 or 10, yes.
Given a numerical grade based on what they were given in the preliminary
but these are all but those 9/9s and 9/8s are all nasty. That's not fair.
I can't wait to see what the end product looks like. And they're back. And as you can see, I'm holding a 9.9 and a 10.0 in our crystal clear case with our beautiful.
I hate their cases.
Now I know I originally said I went over 160 copies total, but actually I went through 400 total from the printer. And out of those 400, I pulled over 300 9/8s, 79 9s, and only 7 10.0s. Now, as you can see,
300 9/8s, that does not seem fair.
Rounded, show a little bit of white and a little bit of wear.
They should not have any white. Those should be 9/6s.
There will be bits of the ink that will not be showing. And
that looks nasty.
The 9/9s, on the other hand, you'll notice very minor color showing.
There should be no color showing. Should be perfect. Everyone else has to have perfect books. Why don't these people have to have perfect books?
In a 10.0,
this makes me angry.
Every corner is sharp. The top and bottom spine is perfect. Comes to a point with 0 color breakage in any area along the spine. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed taking a trip through manufacturing defects and discovering the differences between a 9/8, a 9/9, and a 10.0. If you liked what you saw, please leave a comment below.
I'm going to read some comments. Please note, the white coloration in the sky is a cloud. That's part of the cover's artwork. Well, yes. They don't open the books. That's good to know. These comments are savage. So they don't even open the books. What about the oils on the fingers? Do you generally wear gloves when grading? And here's the reply. Wearing gloves is outdated. Washing your hands, making sure they're dry is the new norm. They all have fingerprints. Yep. These books are nasty. See, everyone agrees with me. Let's look at some more recent comments. You guys tipped one of my comics once in at your signature series. I was pretty pissed off. Somebody says propaganda. That's great. Okay, I'm really upset with this video. It's not fair. All these publishers get 9/8s and 9/8s and all that, and we would get 9/6s and 9/4s. Okay, everyone. Bye-bye now.